will Nodirbek go d4?
He could also, he plays d4, yes. And you mentioned how the bishop on c5 isn't thrilled, but there could be a future where you can push that pawn to d3. It's not, okay.
Whoa.
You know what's interesting, Danya? Queen e3 almost works. So if you trade queens, right? You trade queens and you take, and the push e2, the rook does come to e8 and stop the pawn, but it's close. So rook d7, simple move. That rook is going to e7 and then to e3, and that king on g2, it was safe for a moment. Not looking so safe when that rook lands on the e3 square.
And there's nothing forced yet. It's just that White's position is deteriorating by the move as Nodirbek keeps pushing Hikaru closer and closer to the ledge. Hikaru cannot afford to lose another pawn. Queen has to drop forward to f3 to keep g4 protected, I think. And Nodirbek could even start pushing his queenside pawn, but no, he goes for the queen trade.
So he's answering the question. We kept asking, is a queen trade into this endgame, is it good, give chances to draw, or should it be winning? The evaluation bar says it's winning. So queen takes e3, you'll take with the pawn.
That's definitely winning.
That's a problem. And you have another pass pawn in the making on the queen side. So you can't avoid a queen trade.
No, and rook on the 7th rank is so well placed. Hikaru, the best that he can do is try to trade on his own terms. Nodirbek, you didn't need to tell him twice. Now I would start pushing the pawns on the queen side. He gives a check on e2.
Don't play
getting
rook f2.
Getting it active.
Rook f2 would have lost in the spot.
E3. Oh, d3.
Yes. Yeah, rook e3 is an interesting question, but there is rook f7 check. Probably didn't want to allow the activity. So how does black win this? Is it just a b5 and okay, king h? That's a good answer to the question.
Phenomenal technique. And now Hikaru trying his best to confuse Nodirbek. He could have gone a5 there, but instead he goes after the g4 pawn. We have a version of a trade. Can Hikaru pull off another miracle? And that's what it would take for him to save this. With 2 pawns down, 1 minute on the clock, Robert. This looks grim.
And he goes king g5. I thought he was going to go king h3, bring the king all the way in there, because it looks a little risky with your king having so few moves, but I don't think that there was any checkmate possibilities. And rook to b3. So this is the big moment. Is rook e3 available? And is trading rooks winning for black? He says yes. The eval bar says maybe not.
Yeah, but I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, sometimes the engine needs to use high depth to properly evaluate this. The problem, though, Robert, I don't think Nodirbek should have given up a6. I don't think he should have given that up. Even if the pawn appeared on a5, there is still the possibility of breaking through with b6, b5, and creating a passer on the queen side. That would have been very valuable in an endgame like this. Now White can focus his energies only on the king side.
And part of the problem is the pawns are too close for black. That once rook e3, d takes e3, we get to this situation that now White can even play g4, because what you want to leave black with is an h pawn with the dark squared bishop. And the reason why is that won't be now h5. Ooh.
They're missing it. G4.
Yeah, G4 is very important. H5 needs to be played.
H5. Nodirbek, by going H5, he's preventing G4, because then I think the move is simply H4. He goes bishop D6, back to G3. Now there's a win.
H5.
Bishop takes G3.
Oh my goodness.
And then king goes around to D2 and Nodirbek wins on the spot.
He's going to play it.
Oh, whoa, he misses it.
Well, H5.
That is just...
H5 was good for so long that, I'm happy.
E8. Or no?
Bishop E8, then you could take on G or king D3.
Bishop E8, probably king D3, but he can go back to E2 first, and then bishop takes G3, he goes bishop in, he gets the good version of this position, his clock ticking down.
Wow.
Oh, he plays it?
E2.
No, bishop E2. Bishop takes G3.
G5 is good. You can just push that pawn to G4.
It's over. It's winning.
King C3, king D2, and then the G pawn falls. Wow.
All my lands.
And to win. And Nodirbek Abdusattorov, the world rapid champion, takes down Hikaru Nakamura. What a game from Nodirbek. I mean, he almost let it slip there towards the end, but he was in control from the very